Have you been wondering how and when to introduce wheat and soy products to your baby? In this video, I'm going to talk about the safe ways to introduce these potentially allergenic foods as a strategy to decrease your child's risk for developing an allergy to them. If this is our first time meeting, I'm Dr. Belousov. I'm a board-certified pediatrician, and I equip parents with knowledge so they can care for their children with confidence. I've noticed that many parents fear introducing the common allergenic foods to their baby because they fear that an allergic reaction might happen. Over the past several years, multiple research studies have shown the benefits of early introduction of the common allergenic foods into the baby's diet as a way to reduce their risk for developing allergies to these foods. I put together this video series to give you the confidence to introduce these foods. This is the fourth video in the series. If you'd like to check out the other ones, I have them linked at the end of this video. Most parents aren't sure when they should start introducing wheat and soy products to their baby. For many years, parents were advised to avoid exposing their child to the common food allergens in their first several years of life. However, the Inquiring About Tolerance or EAT study showed that for babies who are at higher risk for developing food allergies, feeding them the common allergy foods early and often reduced the risk of developing allergies to these foods. Babies who have eczema and/or were diagnosed with an egg allergy, or those who have a family history of allergic conditions, are considered to be at higher risk for developing food allergies. Most babies are developmentally ready to safely start taking solids around 6 months of age and when they're showing all the signs of readiness to eat. You can introduce several of the less allergenic foods first, like avocado, sweet potato, banana, and baby cereal or porridge. Then you can start to introduce the common allergenic foods to your baby one at a time, even in the first week of starting solids. There's no reason to delay exposing your baby to the common allergenic foods early on in the food introduction process. It's to the baby's benefit to get introduced to them early and to continue to eat them often as a strategy to prevent the development of food allergies. I go through examples of a food introduction approach that will ensure that a baby is more systematically exposed to a variety of foods, including the common allergenic foods, in my video titled Example of Week 1 of Starting Baby on Solids, and my video titled How to Create Balanced Meals and Expose Baby to a Variety of Foods. They're linked up here if you'd like to check them out. Now let's talk about how to safely introduce wheat and soy products to your baby. You will want to pick a good time of the day, in the morning or afternoon, to introduce the new food. I find that babies do the best with new food introductions when they're well rested and not too hungry. It's best to avoid introducing the common allergenic foods close to bedtime, so you give yourself several hours of awake time to observe for a potential allergic reaction. Avoid introducing 2 new foods on the same day. That way, if your child has an allergic reaction, there won't be any confusion regarding which one was the cause. When introducing a soy or wheat product for the first time, out of an abundance of caution, it's recommended to spend several days giving the new allergenic food and holding off on offering any other new foods. However, on those days, it is fine to bring back foods that your baby had previously and did well with. As far as introducing wheat into your baby's diet, it's easiest to offer a whole wheat baby cereal or porridge. For added flavor, it's fine to mix in a fruit or vegetable puree of a food that you already introduced to your baby. I know that in each country, there are differences in which foods we start with, and when you're introducing wheat to your baby, you can offer the product that is common to begin with in your country. As your child gets older and masters taking solids, whole grain pasta and foods made with whole wheat flour are other wheat-containing products that you can offer to your child. When introducing a whole grain bread, I find that babies do better with it when it's toasted and cut into strips about the thickness of an adult pinky finger. To introduce soy to your baby, it's easiest to start with offering tofu. This food is made from condensed soy milk that's pressed into solid blocks in a process quite similar to cheese making. what you would buy in the store is already cooked. There are different varieties, and I use either the firm or extra firm tofu. It comes immersed in liquid, so first I pour off the fluid and blot the tofu with napkins or paper towel. Then I cut it up into strips that are a little thicker than the adult pinky finger and about 2 to 3 inches long. If you're doing the baby-led weaning approach with your child, this version works great for them. Even at 6 months of age, many babies are able to grab the strips of tofu and bring it to the mouth to self-feed. The tofu can also be mashed with a fork or food masher or using a food processor. If you want it to be a thinner consistency, feel free to add some breast milk formula or water as you're making the puree. Soy can also be introduced in the version of soft-cooked edamame. If you'll be pureeing it, then it's safe to offer as early as 6 months. But if you'll be offering it as a finger food, it's safest to offer small bite-sized pieces of food once the baby is able to pick things up using the tip of the index finger and the thumb, also known as the pincer grasp. This typically happens around 8 to 9 months. So how much and how often should your baby take wheat and soy products? At this time, there are no explicit recommended guidelines for the amount that a baby should take. In addition, the exact amount of the allergen needed to decrease a child's risk for developing an allergy to that food is still unknown. In upcoming years, I believe we will have more of an understanding on exactly how many grams of the allergenic food to give how many times a week. The EAT study showed that early introduction and frequent exposure of 2 grams twice a week of each of the common allergenic foods that they studied decreased the child's risk for developing an allergy to those foods. In the study, they asked that parents offer a wheat-based cereal biscuit like the one from Weetabix 2 times a week for at least 5 weeks. If giving a wheat-based cereal biscuit, you can offer 1 per meal, softened with breast milk or formula for a desired consistency. If you'll be giving a whole wheat baby cereal, you can mix 1/4 cup of whole wheat baby cereal with as much breast milk or formula needed to achieve the desired consistency that your baby does best with. When babies are just starting solids, it's likely that they will only take several teaspoons of food per meal. If your baby doesn't take much of the wheat product at the first meal of the day, it's fine to refrigerate the leftovers and offer them in the second meal of the day or the next day. When introducing soy, you could offer 1/2 to 1 ounce of tofu or edamame to the baby. It's beneficial to continue to expose your baby to the allergenic foods on a weekly basis or at least 2 times a week, since regular exposure is just as important as early introduction for allergy prevention. And even if you aren't able to give as much as I'm recommending, your child stands to benefit from the consistency of being exposed to these allergenic foods in their diet. I know that parents worry about the potential that an allergic reaction might happen when they introduce wheat or soy products. I have a separate video that goes into detail on how an allergic reaction to a food would present itself and what to do in the event that your baby has an allergic reaction. It's linked up here. I also have the videos on how to introduce the other allergenic foods linked up here if you'd like to check them out. See you in the next video.